Good day. My name is Luke Martins. I'm a financial planning coach within Old Mutual Wealth, and I'm going to have a conversation with you about retirement planning and how can we formulate a dynamic retirement planning strategy that works best for you. So I'm going to have a conversation a little bit about myself. So I come from a low-income family. My mother would have been born in the 1940s. If I have a look at her generation and her generation of savers and my uncles, some of them were high income earners, were engineers, had relatively good jobs. Some of them were in business. My mother was a low income earner. So although they were earning all different income, the one thing that was quite clear out of this generation that I saw for myself, every single one of them cannot afford to retire today. They in essence are living off my generation. We know from stats that in South Africa, about 9% of people will be able to retire. That leaves a vast majority that can't retire. We did a survey within Old Mutual employees, and these are people that I think you think would have prior knowledge about retirement products and how to save. And what we found, although 80% of them had the knowledge, only about 30% of them felt comfortable that their retirement plan was going to do what they wanted for themselves, was going to work for them. So in essence, I want to have a conversation around, okay, what are the luxury or the ideal lifestyle that we're looking for and in financial freedom, and obviously what's a necessity. So financial freedom would be having to live the ideal lifestyle. So if you have a conversation around what the ideal lifestyle would look like. So, and then what the other one would be financial security. Around the concept of financial security is being able to cover your living expenses, in essence, what you need to live. So let's have a look at what we have available to save towards a retirement plan. We have investment assets, and I want to break up investment assets into a category of compulsory, which would be retirement type products, and also discretionary type investments. Okay. So what compulsory type products would be? It would be a pension fund, provident fund, retirement annuity, a preservation fund. That will sit in the compulsory space. Right? And then the other part about it would be discretionary. In discretionary, you have the benefit of unit trust, you have endowments, you have tax-free savings, you have shares that sit in that space. What's most important is how do we use the combination of these two in a way that it works for you. So let's talk about a strategy that might work for you, all right? Or that you might have a conversation with your financial planner about. So let's have a strategy. Let's have a look at it in three ways. Right? Let's have a look at actual clients. So I have a client here who's 20 years old, who's going to start saving at 20 years old for 40 years towards his retirement plan. What he's looking for is about 22,500 Rand as an income. So when he retires, he wants to live on about 22,500 Rand. And then the other one only starts retiring or only starts saving towards 40 years old, and he's also looking for the same amount, at 22,500 Rand. So we'd see that the 20-year-old would need about 6 million Rand of capital in order to receive that kind of income. So how do we get there? How do we get to a point where we can save? If we have a look at the two, a comparison of the two, the one that we can see is 20 years old. He's got the benefits of time. And time on his hand, he doesn't need to contribute as much as somebody who's 40 years old towards that retirement savings in order to get that 22,500 Rand. So that's one key concept, okay, is when do we start? Time is important, time is on your side. The other part we're going to look at is, okay, let's have a look at the kind of vehicles that we are saving. Let's, for example, say both of them are saving in a pension fund. So they've got that bedded down. So if you have a look, I'm going to compare with you what does a tax-free savings look like as a top-up to your retirement savings, and what does a retirement annuity? What does that look like? So a retirement annuity, we've got the benefits of tax in that vehicle. Yes, in tax-free savings we have as well, but there are limitations within a tax-free savings as well. But we can see if we compare the two and contributing towards retirement, what comes out of a retirement annuity actually gives you far better benefit because you've got the tax benefit. But obviously once you get to retirement, you're going to have to pay income tax on that if you convert it to an annuity, a living annuity or a life annuity. So certainly the kind of vehicle is important. But let's have a look at a tax-free savings compared to, for example, a unit trust. You get far more benefit out of a tax-free savings, obviously confided within those limitations versus a unit trust. Certainly the combination makes a difference. So in essence, what is most important? How can we have this dynamic plan that allows us to provide for this ideal lifestyle that we're looking for? In essence, we have to have a look at the kind of vehicle that we are contributing into. In retirement vehicles, we have 22.5% that we can contribute into these vehicles. So ideally, we want to try and have a look at maxing that out. Outside of that, obviously what I've shown you is that you have the tax benefit of a tax-free savings and also unit trust and shares. So in essence, having the balance as to providing what's most important for you in the ideal wrapper makes a big difference to your retirement picture at the end of the day. So how do we then marry all of this? We have to have a conversation with a financial planner. Financial planner will help to take all this complexity in and create a financial plan that works best for you. But obviously, most importantly, they're going to have they can drill down into understanding what your lifestyle looks like. Because in essence, your lifestyle that we're living today will contribute a big amount as to how we then retire at the end of the day. The more money we're spending today, the less money we have to save. So in essence, please have a conversation with your financial planner to find a way of having your financial plan work best for you. Thank you.